Okay, that was Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 7. Wow. Aaron made a very traumatized Galliard eat someone and then spill the blood into his mouth. And that might have been one of the most metal things I have ever seen.
I feel like I don't feel very deep at the moment. Like I don't feel like I'm thinking. Like I don't feel like I'm like, wow, let me get into all of the deep complexities of morality and dialogue and questions I still have. I don't feel that right now because I feel like that episode was just so good that its power is too much for me. I feel overwhelmed.
I feel like a bystander. Like, I feel like I'm like continuing to witness it. This is one of the episodes that this doesn't happen a lot because of how much I like to talk about Attack on Titan and discuss it. This is one of the only time, like one of the biggest times at least, where I'm just like, next episode, let me watch it right now, like, and just continue the brutality and like we've gotten here. This is war, and I'm watching it.
I either feel like I need to be like next episode, or I don't know if I have anything to say until I give myself some time for this to like sit with me.
Yeah.
And normally I feel like I can start to like really get into it without even starting to break down the episode in chronological order. I feel like I at least have a few things that I want to touch on. And I feel like at this moment, my mind just feels like it's blown up a little bit.
Yeah. So when that typically happens, what we try to do is kind of go through it chronologically, right? Just to help us out a little bit. Maybe like help us remember some thoughts we had during the episode while it was happening.
During the episode, I just felt like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, I did too. I think that one thing that I expected was Peak to come in because we obviously had the information that she was going to get these reinforcements.
Make sure she had the cart.
Yeah, and her guns.
Yeah, they were like, how far away? I think it was like 15 minutes away or something, and they needed to go get it.
They have done a very interesting job at making me love Peak because
I mean, Peak's design is not to be loved. The cart titan is not lovable. You want a stuffed animal of it.
It's so
creepy to me.
For 99 babies out of 100, regardless of how ugly a baby is, I will be kind and tell that baby that it's cute. I'm gonna have some type of politeness about me. But holy shit, the cart titan is the one out of 100 that I'd be like, sorry, dude, you got an ugly baby. Like,
you're an ugly baby.
I hope it gets better with age. Like, I hope. No, but I think that I already kind of felt satisfied and like, okay. Like, after I learned that Peak was the strategist and like there was more character, but to be shown and reminded again and again with certain things that Peak does in this episode and how she chooses to move and when, and like, it's interesting because you find yourself like being impressed and like not 100% being like, darn, the enemies, like pulled this awesome move off. No, like I'm like, that was awesome. Like that was so cool, and I like this character in like the most fucked up way.
I feel like I root for Reiner, so I root for the armored titan. I root for Peak, the cart titan, and then I'm so sorry to. Okay, first off, I need to say the translation in this episode was calling Porco Pock, and now I don't know what I'm supposed to call him.
There's like a small chance that it was a different character being referred to, or a nickname. But I agree. It took me a second to be like, Porco?
I was like,
Porco?
Who's Pock?
Galliard? Like,
P-O-K? Or P-O-C-K?
I don't know. But so you don't root for...
I don't root for Galliard, and I think, well, one, we haven't had, say, as much time as we have had with Reiner, but I feel like we were already given him as he's even mean to Reiner. So I'm like, why would I like you if you're already an asshat to one of my favorite characters and you're like so stuck in the fact that you should have been there, you should have been the one.
Yeah.
That it seems like he was like a childhood bully. And I'm like, grow up.
Why do you think that Galliard can utilize the Jaw Titan better than Ymir? Do you think it's just years of practice?
I think there's something with the years of practice, but I think that Marley has... Remember when we were seeing those pieces of paper of all of the kids' like pictures with the diagrams of the Titan they could change
They think
into?
about it a lot.
They've researched the Titans and what they're able to do. And we've even learned from some of these Titans that the consciousness of control over your body, that you can then do things to what your Titan looks like.
Yeah.
Like with the Warhammer Titan, I think is the best example, like the biggest, shiniest example of being able to create things with your body.
Definitely.
And then obviously the hardening. But we get this idea that he could create this like bone mask almost. And now we're getting a slightly different looking Reiner at the end there, which also has me intrigued.
Yeah.
Of the consciousness and how it will affect how you look.
I want to say that it's obvious that the people of Marley put so much effort into picking not only the most intelligent, but the most athletic and like the person who wins these contests at the end of the day, right? Like you're all fighting for the position of who can inherit this. Only the best of the best get it. I acknowledge that, but I also get the impression that practice definitely helps a lot.
Yeah.
And like I'm thinking that this isn't the
first. They've gone to war with other countries, and they have research from they have access to all of this memory and research from all of the other people who have once been that Titan.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess to see the Jaw Titan with Peak, I would have to say I definitely am more on Team Peak than Jaw Titan Marcel. Or not Marcel. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I have defamed Marcel. Galliard. I think that I'm more a Peak fan, but I think that because I think that they did a really good job reminding me again and again that Peak was picked for a reason and is very intelligent and smart and like a good character. Another human in this world who is like just living, you know,
right.
doing what they think is right, but it just adds another complexity to it.
Like, I know we've been given 6 episodes with these characters, but still, my stomach hurts. And I get frustrated, and I think I said this a lot last episode, that I feel this massive frustration toward Marleyans and the Eldians of Marley, like Gabby and how Gabby was acting in this episode. Like, yes, I get why this person would be upset and want to kill Eren Yeager after what happened and what she just witnessed. But I feel like I just want to like say to them, like, but are you remembering that you guys went to them first?
Yeah.
They ran away from you to not cause any issues for you anymore and to be able to live in peace. And you guys chased after them. And I know that they weren't the ones that did it or whatever, but there's still this like stomach unsettling frustration that I feel, where I feel like I can't fully be filled with pity or feel super bad or super empathetic, because I'm like, well, I mean, your country did this first. Your nation did this first against Paradis, and now you're acting like, how dare they? You know, like, well, you killed women, children, families by the thousands, and now you're gonna be like, how dare they do this to us? And like, these people must be evil. Like, you guys did the evil thing first, and now you're saying that they're evil for doing the same thing back to you. And maybe that's just the reality of like what war is like and how people feel. But I obviously can be much more empathetic to the people of Paradis who, 1, didn't have any memory, and 2, were just living in peace and not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
And
it brings up an interesting point for me because that's the dilemma, right? Like that, it's in my gut. I think I'm supposed to root for the people of Paradis, but I'm thinking back, like I've it's no secret that I've watched reactions to like shows that I'd already seen 1,000 times, like Blind Wave, you know, like their Hunter x Hunter reactions, their whatever reactions. And when a really cool moment happens, when Levi took the Beast Titan down. Like we're so excited and like watching this amazing animation. We're together, right?
Mhm.
Like you and I were together watching that, and that was a really special moment of hype. I'm starting to realize how much of a potential minefield Attack on Titan has become in an opinionative sense,
Mhm.
because we can all get together and be like, oh my god, that was amazing animation, but what do you think people feel about this? I'm trying to imagine what like Blind Wave's reaction was to this when they watched it. When we're done with the series, for sure I'm gonna watch theirs, but like part of me wonders if there are people who are 100% on one side here, and how
it feels slightly divisive.
Yeah,
like you're watching it and you're like, which makes sense with the theme and the situation that is at play here in the show, and the fact that we have been given time to hear. It's almost like we're hearing a debate, but in more colorful terms, and we're getting to actually live it. And it feels so divisive because I feel so like in my gut disgusted by the actions of Marley, and I want to be hardcore team Paradis, and yes, I know that they're doing something really messed up right now, but it's almost like I'm now blinded to the fact that Paradis is doing something fucked up right now because of the fact that I'm like, well, Marley did it first, which is not a good, like, if this was real life, that would not be good that I feel that way.
Dude, I'm kind of jealous of you. I think that that's the way to be, but I can't say that I feel that.
Do you really think there's a way to be for enjoying
in
and
regards
watching
to
a show?
Attack on Titan right now? Like, I'd say that it is it's probably a safer or more like I'd be easier to live with myself if I thought that opinion, in the sense that I'm like, I feel like I'm doing mental gymnastics to try to justify why Gabby isn't a bad person necessarily, or it's not that easy to just, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. And I agree, and I do tend to side, because how could I not, with the people of Paradis? I do. But if I'm completely honest, I'm still trying and feeling things for the people on the side of Marley and Eldia, because
I wish I was more. You know when Armin looked down and there was that kid
bro,
was crushed?
Are these the sights that you saw, Berthold?
I didn't feel emotional until Armin said that. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with me right now?
It's so funny because I felt emotional until he said that. I felt like, oh my god, Armin, do you not know like what you've just done, what you're about to see? But then like, because I'm feeling like the devastation, right? This is what happened to you. You saw this, Armin, with your friends and family, right? Around you. Like, and then to see him like, this is what you saw, huh? And then to learn that this whole thing was his plan, like, seemingly, or that's the implication that I thought I understood. And it's like, I don't know, like, that's what makes me feel like more, oh yeah, hell yeah, Armin, like, I'm on your side, you've thought about this, but like, just the reality of the situation, that anybody, or not just anybody, people who've experienced it themselves are doing it to other people, just that flat out. Sure, like, it's revenge, and it's like, you know, justice in a way, like, and some arguments, but
phrases like eye for an eye, or
yeah,
something
exactly.
like that.
But it doesn't feel good for me.
It doesn't. What makes me feel, I think, more like I'm reflecting on why what I feel. What's making me reflect on that and really look at it is the fact that when I start to think about if this was real life and this was happening right now, I would be very, very upset with myself for feeling that kind of, yeah, get revenge. Like, I would like to think that I've never in real life liked the idea of revenge.
Yeah.
But there's something about it in movies and TV and books that it's because those people aren't real to me and they are fabricated people. They exist in this story. I tend to root for the revenge in the story. And I'm not sure why, because it's not necessarily like how I feel in real life and how I would want actions to play out in real life. But It's interesting that we're so on different sides with how we feel and what lines meant something to us or what scenes made us feel empathy.
I agree, but I think I have a good way to put it. So, if this show, instead of giving me 4 seasons of 3 seasons of The Island of Paradise and then the first 6 episodes of This Life, if instead of that, we had 2 equal seasons of each point of view, right? And we got to grow up and learn and experience Attack on Titan, each side simultaneously. And then the current events are happening. I would be inclined to side with the people of Paradise. But after experiencing that with both people, which characters within Marley would I be okay with dying and feel justified that they died and like they deserved it? Do you think I feel...
No one deserves to die in this show,
but,
in my opinion.
But when I like think about it in that way, if I had problems with Gabby's attitude, if I had issues with like seemingly small things that are like about a character's personality compared to the devastation that is this, I'm like, yeah, like right or wrong, I can pick a side or like pick which one like I'm rooting for, because I kind of have, and I get really hyped when Paradise moments happen. But I'm still I'm trying to process the complexities of what somebody actually deserves in this situation if they're a kid and like they've been through this, because I'm not saying they're like resolved of evil by any sense, but it's never that simple with the show.
I mean, it might be unfortunate that I feel this way, but there is a definitive difference to me in how I would feel if Falco died compared to Gabby. And I
agree.
think that it's because I am very attached to the fact that Falco is open to realizing that things are fucked up and everyone is doing something wrong, and that there is need for change, and that he doesn't want to keep perpetuating this cycle. And there's something I can attach to and really appreciate out of Falco being basically realizing what Reiner has now realized, but at a young age. And I'm like, thank you. It's like, please, I wish there were more people that realized that why are we perpetuating this violence constantly? We just learned that these people weren't devils, and we were basically like just sent on this mission to kill them. Kids were sent on this mission to realize that they were real people with real feelings that they could be friends with. Like,
when did they realize that, though? When did they learn that information?
The Marlians?
Yeah.
Well, they just learned it through Willie's show.
But
I feel like Falco knew that. I feel like he had a feeling.
I know. Like my point being though is that I 100% agree with you. I think that especially Falco next to Gabby, Falco in general, but for every one amazing Falco that is able as a kid to understand the complexities of this and start to open up, what if it took Falco a month to share his opinions and then other people started opening up? What if time was given, or with an explanation?
They weren't given any time to learn this information from Willie and then use it and or talk about it. They weren't given any time to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I regret saying anything even in the discussion, to be honest, like about disagreeing. I think I'm probably in the minority feeling like more compassionate, I guess, or I know.
Well, why would that be an issue?
I don't know.
It's not an issue at all to feel differently than I do watching a show.
I know, but I'm thinking about like should I be 100%? What percentage should I be rooting for or understanding Paradise versus Marley? Like,
well, I think the issue is that you're not supposed to be completely 100% happy depending on whoever wins, because you realize now how messed up everything is.
Yeah, true.
And the issue is, I think, that there are more characters that I am attached to on one side.
Yeah.
Compared to the other. So if I'm like, hey, here's 10 people I love compared to 2 people I love in Marley compared to Paradise, I'm like, well, I love all of these characters in Paradise who only ever did anything wrong because they were fighting to survive and defend themselves.
I think I'm just going, I don't think I'm I'm never great at trying to put my thoughts into words, but I don't think I'm doing a great job of it. At the end of the day, I just think that it's really interesting that there is a trolley problem here, and it's not an easy thing, right? Like the trolley problem you're going to think about, right? That's the whole point of it being an issue or a complexity or something debated over. And I really appreciate and also notice the fact that there is the problem and debate. And I love that rather than picking a side of which lane I push the trolley towards. And it comes out of a place of appreciation and love for storytelling that I'm able to feel this way. I don't often do it within not only anime, but anything I watch or read. I don't know.
For anyone that doesn't know what the trolley problem is,
Oh.
It's basically just a moral debate of who you would save if a train was coming at full speed, and on this track was what, like, your favorite person in the entire world, and on this track was 10 people.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the moral debate, and that's how I feel about this show, is
Exactly.
I'm like, Reiner and Falco, and even Peak, I like Peak a lot. I'm like, I want them to survive this. But I look over here and I'm like, Jean, Mikasa, Levi, Connie, Sasha, Historia, all of the people that I loved that died from Paradis.
Yeah.
Hanji's there. Like, it's a trolley problem. It really is.
Yeah. I think that, like, that's just the best way to say that the writing's really good in the show. I wish
It reminds me of, I don't know if anyone out there has played Fire Emblem Three Houses, but in that game, you have to, if you don't recruit all of the characters in the game, then eventually you will have to kill them, even though you spent school years getting to know them and having moments where you really did get to know the characters, but then you're gonna have to kill them in battle and war. So it reminds me of that a lot. Like, they're letting us know these characters, but if we don't recruit them and don't save them, then we're gonna have to kill them, and it's gonna feel really sucky. Why are we perpetuating this violence constantly? Why are we perpetuating this violence constantly? Why are we perpetuating this violence constantly?
Why are we perpetuating this violence constantly?